What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and today I want to talk to you about the next balance patch for Dragon Ball FighterZ and about some patch notes. There was a user on Twitter who replied to me with some screenshots of some patch notes, and it seems like a couple of other people have already seen it. Thread came out a couple of days ago, and I'm about to show you here on screen in just a moment. But it went under my radar. I didn't see it, and so I'm just now seeing it, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is fake, but I skimmed through it. It looked kind of interesting, and I figured, you know what, it might be worth making a video on because I guess it could be real. I'm pretty sure it's not. But in the event that it is real, you know, I figured it's obviously worth talking about. And then also there are just some changes that exist within here that I think are interesting and worth going over. So first and foremost, let's open image, a new tab. Let's zoom in here. We have like I said, I'm pretty sure these are fake, but patch notes for Dragon Ball FighterZ. And you can see here we have some system changes and then some changes for Android 21 lab code. So first and foremost, Sparking Blast. Sparking Blast changes from 1.31 have been reverted. Now, honestly, aside from the fact that this Twitter account was just made this month, and this thread of tweets are the only tweets that they have made, that's the first red flag. Second red flag is that I just don't believe Arxis or Bandai Namco, whoever is in charge of stuff like this, would ever drop their pride low enough to just completely revert a change. We've seen in history in DBFZ where they make a change, the community doesn't like that change, and they'll backpedal a little bit, but they never fully go back to the way things were before. Case in point, first example that comes to mind, Super Saiyan Goku, right? A few seasons ago, Super Saiyan Goku's 2M got nerfed. It was a really good normal, but it wasn't like broken or overpowered. However, we did kind of meme about it, call him 2M Ku, and it was a really, really good 2M. I don't believe it needed to be nerfed. The majority of the community didn't believe it needed to be nerfed. And once they nerfed it, we were like, yo, we was just joking. Like, change it back, change it back, change it back. They did buff his 2M later on, but it's still not the way it used to be. It has more range now than it ever did before, but the frame data is different. The frame data is what really mattered to people the most. It is still very useful. It is still a respectable normal, but it's just not what it used to be. Then we also have guard cancel, the air version, removed air guard cancel. Again, just don't see them going back on a change like this that they made. As much as I would love the removal of air guard cancel, because I think it's a really stupid addition that most players only ever do by mistake, and it honestly costs you a character in those instances where you oftentimes do it by mistake. It was a terrible idea. I think it should be taken out, but I just don't think that's something that they would do. Moving on, we have lab code with a nice little list of changes here. First one being reduce the size of the attack's hitbox, reduce distance moved during the attack. This is a nerf to her 5L, so it doesn't have as much range. And then the reduce on the 5LL, so it doesn't hit quite up as high. Then we have a standing 5M, so that would be reduce the attack's hitbox, so again, so it doesn't hit quite as high. Then we have her crouching median attacker, 2M, reduce recovery on block, or increase recovery on block, and slow down the attack startup. So just nerfing her mediums, just nerfing her normals. Slow down the attack startup and reduce distance moved during the attack for her standing heavy attacks, so that's her 5H. Less block stun on her 6H, and then for her vertical slicer and her safe reach slicer, reduce the block stun of the air version, sped up the final hit of the animation. I guess the reduced block stun of the air version is supposed to make it so that if you block it in the air, it's not plus, but that's just not a 21 thing. That's any character that makes you block a special move in the air kind of thing. Like if your opponent is higher up than you and they block something in the air and you land first, you're gonna be at the frame advantage. Sped up the final hit of the animation, adjusted hitbox to begin in front and move backwards, reduce tracking on the attack, and no longer has a low hitting property on Mignardi's heal. I don't actually know how you pronounce that. Mignardi's? Mignardi's? I'm just gonna assume that's her stomp. I'm pretty sure that's her 2-2L, 2-2M, 2-2H, making that no longer a low. Looking through this list of nerfs, these would definitely impact the character quite a bit, but she'd still be the same character. She still has anti-air on her spins. She still has projectile and vulnerable lariats. She still has seemingly most of her combos, unless the frame data adjustments to some of these normals are so like massive that it actually makes that some of her combos don't work anymore. She's still probably actually increase recovery on block and slow down the attack startup. This might make it so that you don't actually get her re-jump anymore, like the easy re-jump she has. I don't know, but regardless, she's probably still be a good character. She still has obviously the stomps, so she can still OTG and do multiple supers, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, just multiple extensions off of assist and everything into supers. She still has a good DHC. She still has her air super that tracks. She still has, you know, a lot of good things going for her, but this would definitely tone her down quite a bit. And I think make people dislike her a little bit less. Then moving on to Vegeta, which again, these are just all out of order. If these were real, they would not be in this order. Whenever Bandai Namco actually releases official patch notes, they always do it in order, starting with like Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, so on and so forth. So this is definitely something that was made by somebody in Photoshop, but I figured it'd be fun to go over anyway. Moving on with Vegeta, we have slowed down the attack startup of his 5M. I think we could all mostly agree that'd be a good change. It being 9 frames and having the distance that it does is just insane. It is a jump scare normal, and they added increased whiff recovery to it, which I think was a good change, but wasn't quite enough in my opinion. Jumping special attack, increased recovery on whiff, so that's a nerf to the JS, to the Spirit Sword. Spiral Hero Shot, increased recovery on whiff. And then the Z assist, they actually nerfed his A assist, which would slow down the attack startup, decrease the hit stun, and Vegito now appears closer to the player when called, so he's not as far back, so it's easier to hit Vegito and stop the assist from working in the first place. Decrease hit stun, making that full screen confirms not as easy and viable, and then slow down the attack startup, just making it slower. And then moving on again to Gogeta, we have standing light attack, second hit, reduced distance move during the attack, standing medium attack, they nerfed the range on the 5M, and then meteor strike, reduce blocks, then reduce the size of the attack's hitbox, just taking away his plus frames maybe, or making them just weaker. So again, some interesting changes. And the thing about these changes, and part of the reason why I kind of wanted to make a video on it, even though it's clearly fake, is that I think they're good changes for the most part, because these are nerfs that like do weaken the character and are significant to some degree, but don't completely throw the character to the bottom of the barrel and make them a bottom tier character. Like Vegito losing his 5M a little bit, like he still would be good. You know, that's one of the things that makes Vegito good, but it doesn't make or break the character. Now the JS I probably does matter a little bit, but at least it's on whiff. That's another thing that's important about these moves, is that it's on whiff. Because these are both obviously very important parts of Vegito's kit, but I think them having a little bit of whiff recovery, because they currently don't, would be good. To make the character just a little bit more normalized, in my opinion. That's an important thing when it comes to buffs and nerfs, is particularly the nerfs, is normalizing a character. Like when we want a character nerf, or at least when I want to see a character nerfed, it's not that I want them completely and utterly gutted. I mean, there are some characters who, if they happened to, I would laugh and I wouldn't bat an eye, but that's usually not what I'm hoping for. I want them brought down to a certain level and other characters brought up to that same level. That's usually what I'm looking for in a balanced patch. You're trying to balance things out. It's not about taking the seesaw from this character being up here and this character being down here to reversing the roles. It's about trying to get them on an equal playing field, and I think that's kind of what some of these changes do. So if we go on, we also see we have some changes for Gogeta Blue, Android 17, Janemba, Zamasu, Gotenks, Space Goku. So let's go ahead and run through some of this. We've got Blue Gogeta, so standing light attack is 5L, time between attack 1 and 2 has been reduced, slightly reduced distance move during the attack, fixed reflect pushback distance. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, I guess it depends on who you ask. 5M, reduced distance move during the attack, so a nerf to the 5M, just less range. JM, reduced the amount of overhead hits, which would honestly make sense to me, because I don't really understand how Gogeta's JM has multiple hits that hit overhead, when Gotenks used to do the same thing with his jump light, and they nerfed that and took that property away from Gotenks, but then Gogeta's allowed to have it. It's always just really weird to me when they take something away from a base roster character and then immediately give it to a DLC character. Just odd. 2H, increased recovery on block and reduced height when the attack is blocked. This would take away Gogeta's 2H mix, which isn't the end of the world, because obviously the 2H is mostly supposed to be used as an anti-air tool anyway, and also Gogeta gets mixed from other things. Him being able to just do 2H into assist is kind of crazy. It's really easy, really simple to do, and you know, works really well with 17 and 21, who are some of the top tier carries in the game right now. So again, a significant change, but not a character breaking change. You know what I mean? He still would be really good, still has crazy synergy with other top tiers, still gets a lot of damage, still has good combos, still has great neutral, it still has mix, you know what I'm saying? So again, these are significant changes. I guess it'd be hard to say just how significant they are before getting your hands on them, but in theory, like they make sense to me. And then Z assist A-type, fixed issue where hitting the assist would still provide a wall bounce. I've definitely had my fair share of trades with Gogeta A assist that still provide a wall bounce, and I still get comboed. Android 17, 5L, increased distance move during the attack, so a slight buff to 17, but remove the wall bounce property from the A assist. Kind of indifferent on that one. Some people do want to see a nerf to 17's A assist. I don't really mind it that much. And then just a slight buff to the 5L. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Then we have Janemba, reduced distance move during the standing light attack. I think that would be a reversion of a change, because I'm pretty sure they made it so that Janemba's 5L went further, and if they nerfed that, that'd be them moving backward with that. So again, it's one of those things I don't normally see them doing. And then the A assist, sense target in a neutral direction instead of down. I mean, I don't really know if Janemba assist needs to be altered at all, if I'm being honest, but that's just me. Zamasu Heaven's Flash, reduced flight time per jump. Does Zamasu need nerfs? I don't really know. And then Heaven's Warp, increased startup on the moves and vulnerability. Now, I am actually going to be doing a video this weekend, well, a stream this weekend with a number of Dragon Ball FighterZ players. If you saw the video I posted with Dion the other day or yesterday or whenever you're seeing this, it's titled something like C Reacts is a monster in the clutch. I talked about the stream that I'll be doing this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Western time, featuring a number of DBFZ players ranging all the way from Fred and Nitro to Zane and Cloud and Jake Ryan, all the way to as well as European players such as Obi Assassin, Wade, and Kasuga, right? And a number of other people who I didn't name will also be there. I don't want to give away too much of my thoughts and opinions on that just yet, but there are certain characters in the game who I feel like are probably fine to stay exactly as they are, unless some characters above them get drastically changed. Then they might need to also come down just a little bit just to kind of balance out. But Zamasu is one of those characters that like is arguably a top 5 character in a lot of people's opinion, but I don't really know if he needs to be changed. Go Tanks. Auto combo. Fix an issue where the third hit of auto combo would be buffered after the second hit connected. This is a bug. This would be a necessary change. Hoping to see that in the patch. Z assist B type. Fix an issue where the hit stop trajectory would bug after canceling a great special rolling kick. Again, fixed to a bug. Crouching medium attack. Increase distance move during the attack. That's a fine buff for base Goku. His 2M is kind of whack. It's especially in comparison to Super Saiyan Goku and Blue Goku. And then Kamehameha. Fix an issue with the hit stun of Kamehameha up after being canceled from 2 to S. Again, I don't really know if you call that a bug per se, but a welcome change in my opinion. And we have a few more to go through here. I might as well go through all of them. We've got 2 more left. We've already gone through 2. I'm kind of speeding through this because I don't want to spend too much time on it. Also, the faster I talk and go through this, the less I give away my thoughts for the stream that's coming up. But yeah, let's open up this one here. For Frieza, these are probably going to be some bugs. Golden Frieza jumping medium attack, reduce air momentum using the attack. Golden Frieza added an effect around Frieza's health bar to indicate time left in Golden Frieza. Sure. I mean, by that same token though, I don't remember if Gohan is listed anywhere in these changes, but then Gohan should have something to indicate the level of potential unleashed that he has, but whatever. Increase the attack hit stun on his A assist, which is probably welcome because Frieza's assists all suck. And then Z assist B type, change projectile to have beam like property, which again would help because Frieza's assists suck. UI Goku gets the buff to cancel his beam into Super Dash. Don't like it. Also, UI Goku has a bug that has not been fixed to this day, where if he does his Kamehameha and you vanish, you end up in front of him and still get hit by the Kamehameha. Fix it. I don't care if you tell me that it's because he does a backflip and then he's in place and now you vanish into the place where he what? No, that's dumb. It's stupid. It's a bug. I don't care what you say. It's not a feature. Fix it. Rising Heat. Change started with the attack to be invulnerable. Again, that would be them making it back into a DP, which is something that they did, so I don't see them undoing that. Autonomous Fist, heavy version, now ground bounces opponent closer to the player. Unnecessary IMO, but whatever. Then Bardock, standing medium attack, increase distance move during the attack, buff to his 5M. I guess. And the Rebellion Spear, fix an issue where using a Z assist at the same time during the attack would give the player a super change, bug fix. I'd like to see some better changes than that for Bardock, personally as a Bardock player, but that's just me. And then some Roshi changes, added the ability to super jump float. I don't even think that Bandai or ArcSys would call it super jump float or address it in this manner. Reverse Kamehameha, and I also just don't think Roshi will have it because he can't super dash, but it is what it is. Reverse Kamehameha added the ability to special cancel on whiff. They misspelled cancel, but they've had typos in the past, so this isn't a big deal to me. Again, we already know this is fake, but I'm just pointing stuff out. Z assist B type, sped up the attack second hit. That'd be a buff to the B assist after they nerfed it, again reverting a change to some degree. And then Martial Spirit medium version, change startup of the attack to be invulnerable. And then the last little part we have to go through here is actually we got Trunks, Vegeta, GT Goku, and Yamcha. Again, these characters are way out of order for how they would actually be presented in an official patch notes list, but for Trunks we get buffs. We get some good buffs. Standing medium attack, 5M, increase block stun and split up the attack startup. That's okay, I guess. I mean, more block stun, sure, just gives us a slightly better advantage. And then it just being faster. Trunks is 5M. Off the top of my head, I actually don't even remember how fast it is if I'm being honest. Like 9 or 10 frames. If they make it like 8, I guess that'd be cool. Standing special attack, so 5S, increase block stun, sure, and reduce recovery. I would rather see a little bit more hit stun to make it easier to hit confirm personally. This would be a welcome change, but not that great of one in my opinion. This actually falls in line out of everything in these notes. This actually falls in line with something that Bandai would actually do, or that ArcSys would do, because while these buffs would be welcome and they're cool, they don't really make him that much better or help him fall in line or compete with any of the characters above him, if I'm being honest. Shining Slash, air in all versions. The attack will now land the opponent directly in front of Trunks. That's cool, I guess, just because that means that like if I do, JS into EX Shining Slash mid-screen, I can actually, do my level 3 without having to spend an extra bar for Vanish, which would actually be huge for him. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the best change listed here, because then that makes his mix less. That makes Trunks as a character less meter hungry, makes his mix more viable and less resource dependent, and just allow you more opportunity for that. And then Z assist A type increased block stun. I don't see them ever increasing the amount of block stun on Change the Future just because it's such a such a large assist with such a big hitbox. But yeah, and again, I'd rather see more hit stun on it than block stun if I'm being honest. Well, I'd welcome the block stun, but that's not really what I'm looking for from it. I would prefer it to go back to having the hit stun that it had like toward the end of season 1. That's just me. Then we have Super Saiyan Vegeta. Interceptor Kick has increased block stun. Super Dash Kick now has Ki Blast and vulnerable properties, making it like the other Ki Blast and vulnerable layers we have in this game. Consecutive Energy Blast added the ability to special cancel from the attack. Can you not already do that? Oh wait, no, special cancels. They mean like cancel into a Super Dash Kick or like into a Super? No, because you can already cancel into Super. It's like consecutive Energy Blast into Super Dash Kick or Interceptor Kick, because that'd be insane. Weird. And then the B assist has increased distance move during the attack, and assist now spawns further behind the player. And again, this is one of those things that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because some of these other changes would be making the assist spawn closer to the player, and then some of them spawn further away. Again, makes sense for the types of change you might like to see for a character, but usually when Bandai does a patch or something like this, the changes that they make are a bit, usually there's some exceptions, but usually things are a bit more universal. So for example, like if they're taking away level 3, they're not going to give a level 3 Oki to other characters if they're taking it away, unless it's a DLC character that's being released with it. You know what I'm saying? They're not buffing a level 3 to have a better mix-up. If they're taking away from one character, they're taking away from multiple. Some characters slip through the cracks, kind of like 18 did in the last patch. I don't expect that to be the case in the next patch. He's probably going to lose it. But it is what it is. And if anything, they're going to make it so that assists like hit, like Vegito, spawn closer to the player so that they have a better chance of being hit and knocked out of the assist happening in the first place, as opposed to getting a buff where they show up further away so that they don't get hit. And then we have GT Goku, who I think is the last one. No, GT Goku, then Yamcha. Standing light attack, follow-up 2, increased distance move during the attack. Again, that's kind of reverting an old change where they nerfed his auto combo so it didn't go as far, so that you didn't chase backdash as well. I don't see them reverting that. Crouching medium attack, decreased recovery on block. Buff to the A assist, sped up the attack startup. I mean, GT Goku's A assist was really good. We all dealt with it, but the thing is that was always weird and dumb to me about it is that they nerfed it after they gave everyone the ability to easily super jump, float, and move around the screen and move jump, which was how you dealt with the assists. So it should have never been nerfed in the first place. And then Dragon Flash Fist. Fix an issue where the player cannot special attack cancel during the first hit of the attack. Increase the height loss after using the attack on the medium and heavy versions of the attack, so basically bug fixes. And then Yamcha, for his standing and crouching special attack, added the ability to fast fall during the attack, which could be pretty useful for him. Standing light attack has increased distance move during the attack, so just a bit more range on the auto combo. Standing medium attack sped up the attack startup, so faster 5M. And then for his 2M, increased distance move during the attack, just giving him a bit more range on his 2M. And I mean, yeah, Yamcha doesn't have the best normals, so I guess buffs to his normals are welcome, but you know, not skyrocketing him up the tier list in my opinion. But yeah, and I think that's everything. So not all the characters for sure, and you can see someone just tagged me there. But yeah, pretty sure this is all. I'd be very, 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 very shocked if any of this was real. I'm pretty sure this person just whipped all this stuff in Photoshop. They might not even actually be Japanese, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, they made this tweet talking about, hey, did anyone see this? Bandai Namco posted this and then deleted it. And then it says March 5th at that. It's all cap. It's all cap, but I thought it'd make for an interesting video, and so here we are. But what do you guys think about those changes? Would those be changes that you'd be interested in seeing? Would you welcome those changes? Do you think they're really good? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all this content that I'm bringing you. With all that being said, it's pretty much off today. And remember, nothing can happen to you from the bad. Later.